Our theme for today, as you know, is does your AI make you happy? So let's start off with this very broad question. Does your AI make you happy, Achim Berg?
What a question, of course.
Of course.
I'm not sitting here. No, it's maybe should I give you an example? It was a funny one.
Yes.
Maybe not everybody likes it, but my parents had a small flat on Mallorca. Mallorca knows everybody in Germany. Had a small flat there, and my parents, I couldn't go there anymore because they were too old, and they asked me, could you sell it? And all of a sudden someone came to me and said, oh, I'm very interested in this small flat. And I said, fine. And he was from South Africa, and he speaks German. And he said, but we need a kind of contract. I said, oh, a contract? I don't have no lawyer here. So I went home, used my CAT GPT and gave everything in. It was so funny. And it wrote 4 pages of, you should know, the Spanish law is very complicated. It's not as the German one. And it's binding. If you sell it, it's binding. No? It's not only notary, nothing. And I did it, everything fine. He was quite impressed, but I admit, the 4 pages, he signed it both. And then, all fine, I was very happy. The next day, his lawyer called me because he wants to prep himself for the notary. And then he said, can I talk to your lawyer? I said, no. And then I said, why? He said, this was ChatGPT. And I heard him, the phone banged on the table. He said, what? He said, yeah, sorry, it was ChatGPT. It was 100% correct, everything.
Wow.
Is
Hyundai's VP of Legal in the room still? If he's not, there's somewhere he just got a bit of a shiver. And Frank's already trying to reduce his salary, probably.
No, I'm not kidding. It's serious. It's unbelievable.
Fantastic. So then let me ask you another question, Achim, that's come up today. And we did a poll on it earlier. How polite are you when you're using ChatGPT?
I'm polite because ChatGPT is polite to me as well. Normally it's trained that it has to be polite.
Yes.
And that's sometimes I would love it was more straight but it's quite polite. But this is how it works. And it's don't forget, it's American. It's an American tool. It's American culture, and sometimes it's funny if you see the answers from ChatGPT because it's very. I lived in the US for many years, and it's very American. Some answers, but this is typical. This is it's fine. You should know this. Therefore, I'm polite.
So I think you'll find that most people were less polite in our poll today. But
okay,
yeah. So let's kick it off. I want to start off. Our conversation, our fireside chat today is: can AI help Europe catch up? Now, I know it's a fairly broad topic, but I know you've got some fairly robust thoughts here. Let's kick it off with something very pertinent. Mario Draghi, the former Prime Minister of Italy.
I know him.
You know him?
Yeah.
Personally?
Yeah.
I feel like this is all redundant now. But, we'll keep on. He released a 400-page report commissioned by the EU. And in that, he really warns about Europe's productivity and innovation decline compared to the US and China. And he says that there's really existential challenges facing Europe. Where do you see, I guess, first of all, one of the biggest challenges coming from in terms of Europe falling behind China and the US?
So now I have to be polite.
Okay.
No, it's funny. I just came out of a few meetings, even today. We had a board meeting today, and we discussed it, how Germany is doing, how Europe is doing compared to others. And it's always easy to complain. But a few things we have to complain, especially if you see what the EU Commission is doing. For example, this Data Act and the AI Act is not helping us. The typical example is, and that we had a discussion this morning, Apple is coming with a new iPhone with the AI intelligence. It's available around the world except Europe, because it's against the Data Act and they don't want to open the data for many, many reasons. And if you see what the future is, maybe in 1 or 2 years from now, we all will ask our phones and I need a new insurance, health insurance, whatever it is, and what is the best thing to do? And what do I need to do because of my age, blah, blah, blah. You are trained to ask your iPhone for everything. And this is not available in Europe because of the Data Act. I think we are totally on the wrong way. And if you see on the AI Act, what we did is many, many compromises. I know the France, they want to watch they have all these surveillance cameras, and there was something, and they open it, but what the AI Act is doing, it's regulating the transformer, the the transformer models, which is totally wrong, I guess, because it's so complicated, and we have to these 4 levels. I don't know if you know this, the 4 levels of which needs to be, and of the above the 2 levels is a very serious one. I understand that a weapon, for example, if the AI decides that the weapon shoots somebody, that should be forbidden. That's for me no question. But many other things are forbidden as well, especially in Europe, and we are behind. This is one thing, and the second one is all the regulation and all you need to. For example, I talked to a company a couple of months ago, this AI company. They have 300 people working, and only 100 people working on just on regulation and governance and all this stuff. This is super expensive. We are too complicated, and we keep telling everybody, the EU Commission, yeah, we need to be easier and better, but we don't do it. Therefore, I'm super pissed on this one, and we have to be careful. And hopefully, you are running. Something happens now. We need a big explosion. Otherwise, we are falling behind.
And when you say big explosion, what do you think needs to happen?
I don't know, but it's something you see it in a few areas that the people are really fed up and saying we need to be. You can't treat the size of a shoe with a genome. It's not the same. It is. We need to be more. We need to be more practical about the data and the availability of data and the usage of data. Maybe I can give you one example, which is it happened in Germany, which I'm very happy with, is the healthcare thing. Yesterday I visited a company and I spent 5 hours with an AI company, advice company. What they're doing, first thing, they have 25 million, I wouldn't say customers, on the claims from the insurance companies, the health insurance. If you go to a hospital, for example, or go to a doctor, you have to get the claim, and you send the claim to your, what is it called, the Krankenkasse, I don't know what it's in English, I don't know. The insurance, the health insurance company. And what they're doing is they look at everything and they say, okay, if you take this drug, if 1,000 people take the drug, what happens after it? Are they going to hospital or not? Can you avoid the hospital? This is something which happens in Germany right now, and they're doing it. They're currently doing it this week. And this is a big innovation. Or the other one is the MRI. On the MRI itself, probably prostate cancer, for example, the biopsies is not a good thing to do for many reasons. And what they have these, they understand all this picture, and they can see in the picture more than every doctor can see. And this is something which in the meantime it is allowed because they changed the law last year, and this is something which helps us a lot. And then I understand that AI can really be a big change. Maybe this is something everybody should clear. It's at the beginning. I think 2 years ago we started with CAT GPT with a little bit of everybody saw, okay, AI is really smart. And what happened in the last 2 years is unbelievable. At the beginning, we completely overestimated what had happened. And I heard many people say, it's stupid there, and all this question, and the stupid answer. What happened in the last 18 months is unbelievable in the speed, and it will even be more. Don't underestimate the power of AI. This I can say. This is one thing. And the second thing, what I keep telling the people is, telling everyone, AI and the innovation can only be driven by the CEO of a company. The CEO of a company needs to understand that the innovation, if the CEO is not understanding what's going on, you will not succeed. For example, I talked about BMW, you can see it from here. I'm in the Mercedes building, but there's BMW. Oliver Zipse, the CEO of BMW, he understands exactly what needs to be done. And I was happy to help a little bit on the customer data strategy, and he understands. He is pushing every week, the whole team. Every week we understand our customer much better. We need more data, we need better data, we need the data combined. This is something, it needs to happen from the top. It's super important.
And if it doesn't happen from the top, it doesn't happen at all. Is that what you're saying?
That's my problem. Yeah, you see it many companies. You can't delegate it to someone. The CEO needs to understand how important it is to invest there in this area. And we talk about call center in a minute because you could call the call center all day, but it's what is possible in a call center, how much more you can do in call center business or in other businesses or in retail businesses, in customer interaction. If AI helps you a little bit to get more information, it's unbelievable. And I have a few examples, not in the call center industry. I was very happy. Can give you one more example?
Of course.
This was quite interesting. A big German company asked me to review the AI strategy. It was a huge one. Everybody knows the company, and therefore I don't tell you which one it is. But the owner of the company, by the way, it carries the name, is over 80 years old. And he was sitting there, and he asked his team, what are you doing on AI? And they showed a few examples. One example is unbelievable. Maybe we can use it here as well. If someone drives to a car, and then he asked in the car, he asked the AI, I'm going to the blah, blah, blah customer. What do I need to know? And then the AI answered after 10 seconds. He said, okay, the customer is the revenue is more or less the same the last 12 months. But the customer didn't buy a special product for 3 months, which he normally buys every month, but he didn't buy it. And there's something going on. And by the way, he was in our shop and it put a machine into what is it called, the basket, but he didn't order it. But by the way, it is available. This is what the AI told the person itself. Unbelievable. And then the old man said, I don't believe this. And he's like, take my customer. And he took his customer. The same happened. He got all the information, what happened from an AI. Because the reason is, they have that database in line. They have very, very good database, which is, by the way, the key. And then at the end, the sales guy said, is there any open position or open invoice? And the AI said, yes, there is one invoice open. It's overdue for 2 weeks. And then the sales guy said, okay, send a copy to me and to the customer. This happened real time.
Wow.
This is really, then you see what's good, what you can do. And this is, and now you ask yourself, it is, what was it for the sales numbers? No? Good salespeople don't need this. But the medium and the lower one, they get much better. That's how you see this. It's quite interesting.
So we've covered a few points here. So let's go back to AI and CX.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's fine. So younite being a technology company in this space, any way to improve CX with AI is absolutely paramount. And you've already, I guess, highlighted here the importance of personalization and the amount of data that the AI has available to it to be able to do that in an effective way.
What do you mean? It's exactly do you think how you can do it better, or it's in a CX way? Or?
Yeah, so I think you talked about personalization in your example.
Yeah.
And so do you think companies need better access to better data to be able to affect that personalization with their AI tools?
First of all, data is the key. This is no question. The number one of the issue is you need real data. Mm-hmm. You need to understand the customer and the problem itself. And on CX, I had a few companies. Example, I talked to an insurance company last week, and because they are very interested. And the question was, do we need salespeople anymore? The machine can do everything. This was the question, but it's wrong. It's totally wrong. And what someone said, and I totally agree on this one, if the AI helps to pre-qualify the person who is calling or whatever, that's super important, that you have all the information available. And then at the very end, it is for the insurance company, and they tested, very important that a person talks to the people. This is super important, because at the very end, the people don't want to talk to the machine. That's that one. And the second one is, you have always the opportunity to sell something or make the customer more happy. And at the end, there was a unique opinion in the room that, of course, the AI can do a lot of stuff and can answer many questions, but at the very end, you need someone to talk to him. And this won't change at least the next 10 to 15 years, I'm sure.
And this came up earlier on today, that AI can do a lot of things, but it just can't sell as well as humans. It can't close as well as humans. But we were talking before about the exponential improvement to AI and its development. So realistically, let's have a look. If there is this exponential growth, do you think AI will be able to do that selling, emulate that emotion in some way? And if so, what's the time frame? Is it 10, 15 years, or do you think it's going to be a bit shorter?
First of all, it's not allowed that AI can use emotions in Europe. That's against the law. Full stop. We can complain about the law, but this is part of the law.
Okay.
Emotion is not allowed that the AI can detect or can work on the emotion of someone who's calling, which is crazy. For example, asparagus. The machine can much better see the the indication of asparagus than any doctor, but it's not allowed in Europe. This, for example, just to give you. Okay. This is I'm 100% sure that it's not, because that's one of the discussion. The development of AI in the next 10 years, I have no idea. I think if we see the next 5 years we see that what I mentioned before. The speed is unbelievable. All of us underestimate what's coming. And again, I said I was the last couple of weeks. I was with many AI specialized companies, even startups. What they all develop, what they're working on. It's quite impressive. And I must say, younite is one of these. Don't look at. It's a few things that are really good. And I think I push you like. But this is what we see in the next 5 to 8 years and don't underestimate it. And you need to spend a lot of time. At the old call center with 3,000 people in a room, it's history. It doesn't make sense.
Do you think?
By the way, I was at Avato. I had 20,000 people. Therefore, I know it and know the problem quite well. Yeah.
Do you think companies are expecting too much of AI too soon at the moment?
Yeah, that's the old problem. I saw it in the beginning, and last year the hype cycle, the Gartner hype cycle. At the very beginning, there's I can do everything, and you start to do everything, but you need a business case. I think first of all, many great ideas, and I can do this and that, but there's no business case behind it. And always the question I'm asking, even in the board, is what is the business case? What is the need of the usage? Because you can do a lot. And my feeling was the people started beginning were very emotional, a lot of passion, and then I said, "Oh God, it's not working," and then they stopped doing it, and this is the big mistake. It's coming now. You see it's typically the Gartner hype cycle. It's going super fast, and I said it 3 times today. Don't underestimate what's coming in the AI.
Do you have any predictions for the CX space in AI?
Not in this room. Too many specialists are here. That is too dangerous.
Okay. We've talked about AI regulations in Europe, and you've mentioned before that you think they're a bit of a double-edged sword. Can you expand on that for us?
Yeah, on the one side, you need rules. This is no good. You need some. Therefore, this was the idea itself of an AI Act. It's something I really like, but how we do it, and then we have this in Germany, especially in Germany, we have this gold plating. We do it even better than the EU and even more than the EU, and this is in everything. It was GDPR was exactly the same. GDPR itself is not bad, but how Germany did, it's completely crazy, and all the rest of Europe they ignored it. Said, yeah, fine, and this is a little bit of the that means normally that you have rules and regulations. It's okay. But we overdo it. And I gave you a few examples. I can give you a little bit more, but I talked about it already. That we have to be careful what we're doing. And this is in this case, and I mentioned the iPhone 16 again. If the Apple is saying okay, fine, then you don't get the product in Europe. And we say, oh, no one is complaining. This is what I expected an Apple and Gemini is on they say the same on the other side, on the Android side. But no one is complaining about it. And we in Europe, we don't get the product because we have the rules. And therefore, I'm surprised that it's not that no one is shouting and saying it can't be.
So you think it's really slowing down AI development and adoption?
Yeah, and you see it in the companies as well. Yeah. But again, we have very good European and German companies on AI. This is what I'm not saying. You can do this, but it's super difficult.
So do you think that's going to push some of these companies outside of Europe?
Of course. The amount of data and the training data is much easier to get in the US and in China. It's no question. But in the US itself, it's much easier to train the model. Can get the data. It's something very complicated here in Germany, and we have too many rules, and therefore it's easier for American companies. But again, we have many European companies who do well as well.
It's interesting on this point. Recently, Facebook was caught scraping a heap of data from Australian users' profiles. Yeah. Just taking it all, and there was no repercussions. There's nothing like GDPR in Australia. So clearly nothing like that can happen in Europe, but it was a harvest goldmine for them there. The future of AI, you've talked about it being in 2 different categories, narrow AI and general AI. Yeah.
We are currently at the stage of narrow AI. That is, AI, the machine is not really intelligent. We use in Germany, we use the name künstliche Intelligenz. It's not the intelligence. I think we translated it the wrong way, because the CIA is not the intelligence agency. It's completely stupid. Therefore, it's we have to be careful what we do. It's machine learning what we currently do. It's machine learning. It's training. And what I normally do is if I present and explain AI, I always explain how a neural network works. How this works. This is just. This is just machine learning, not more. It's even quite impressive how far we go, and transformation models and transformer models, but it's not AI. But what happened in 10 to 20 years? The discussion came so many times and was so often that we discussed it. Nobody knows. I personally believe that we the next 20 to maybe 30 years don't see real intelligence. But I don't know.
Okay, yeah. 20 to 30 years.
I don't know.
Okay. If anyone has any questions for Achim, please raise your hand. I'll bring the microphone over to you. Let's jump to you, Erwin, then, first of all.
I have a question that is probably sounds a bit like a stupid joke, but it's actually I'm genuinely curious. You said there was an AI office where you had 300 people working, 200 were working on it, and 100 were working on the European rules.
Mm-hmm.
Why is there no AI tool that looks at the European rules?
Because in the algorithm, if what is in Europe is you need to explain your algorithm. You need to explain what the algorithm is doing, and this is a lot of work. And this is I'm even not sure if Google or others understand their own algorithm. That's something maybe is a different question. But this is the reason why you need to write everything down, explain what's happening. You need to explain what's happening in the machine, and this is very European. That's not the case otherwise. That's the reason why you need nearly 100 people to document everything. That's a big problem. Yeah. Thank you.
You mentioned before, like all the regulation in the EU regarding data protection and hence the lack of significant AI development we are having here. Don't you think, anyway, whatever can be done now will be kind of too little too late, as data, often called the currency of the 21st century, is now already in the hands of mainly US companies, Facebook, Google, Apple, I don't know, you name them. Whatever the regulation is. I mean, in Europe, we still have different regulations in different countries. Germany has the strictest data protection laws. So even if those are now eased, don't you think the data, the kind of data is already gone, the kind of technical competitive advantage is already in their hands and cannot really be recovered?
It's not too late. My view. Yeah, thanks for the question. I think it's not too late. This week I visited 3 AI companies in Munich here, and I was quite impressed because they have the model, super smart people. They don't have all the data. They have just a kind of trained data. But what they're using now, they're trained the data outside of Europe, which is we maybe don't like. And one other thing which I was not aware, but I learned yesterday, that we allowed to use healthcare data in Germany. We were not since last year. They changed the regulation and the law last year, and now you're allowed to use because 2 years or 3 years ago we bought 3 million data sets because we didn't understand COVID, and Germany had to buy them for a lot of money, and this is not the case anymore. What we can do now is, and the interesting piece is, if you see the insurance companies, they have much better data in Germany than, for example, in the US. In the US, the data is not as precise. In Germany, it's precise which medication you're taking, which drug you're taking, how long you take it. Everything is written down. This is not the case in other countries. That means our data are super helpful, and now they're getting it. This is maybe one case. We changed the law last year, and then now we be allowed to use this data that's something which is quite important. And I was complaining for many years that this was not the case, but they changed last year. And this might happen in other areas as well. And I saw a few other things about the MRI thing, for example. It's very simple. But the intelligence behind how you read the pictures and see if there's something cancer in it, it's done in Germany. The model is done in Germany. And maybe it's used somewhere else, but it's done in Germany. Therefore, I think it's not too late. And at CX part, we can do a lot of stuff. Maybe not everything, but we can do a lot of stuff as well. Therefore, it's not too late.
Any other questions? No. What impact do you think political fragmentation has across Europe? Do you think that everything is controlled by Brussels in the right way? Do you think that they're having a tight grip on it? Or do you think there's just too much fragmentation generally to have a unified approach to be able to compete effectively with, say, US and China?
Europe is, for example, we have the largest population in Europe, larger than the US, not larger than China, but larger than the US. That means from the population itself, we have everything we need. Sometimes it's not as easy as you think to go from country to country, and because they have different laws. Therefore, it's in general, if the EU takes a law and it is valid, or you have to use it all over Europe, it's better, it's okay. Therefore, Europe could have the advantage. Using it or not is another question, because we have a language barrier, which is this is the advantage of the US. They have not the language barrier. They can test it with more people. This is something, but we shouldn't feel that we're lacking behind the US and others. We have more. The quality of the startups in Europe is quite high, And there's maybe one thing. There was the question: should the government do more? This is quite an interesting question. This is a good one. I think the government should go out of our way, then we do it. But this is my feeling. Don't regulate too much. Let us work on this one, and don't regulate everything. This is maybe my answer on this one. And money is there. Money is available. Investment is there. And I'm working in the private equity sector, and there is a lot of money in the market to be invested.
But they're just looking for the right opportunities.
They're looking for opportunities, and sometimes they overpay. That's fine. Or not everything, but it's...
Okay. Draghi actually called for doubling the support for more disruptive innovation in Europe. Is more investment the answer, or do we really need to look at these regulations and somehow try and pull them back?
I got the question many times, and I got it in the political area, and they said, "Oh, we need more money." I disagree. I think the money is there. Money is available. What we need is good ideas, and then we need the companies to bring it up. Again, the government should go out of our way and let us do. And I think it's not about money. I think it's about good ideas, and we have many companies have good ideas, and sometimes that larger companies pick small startups or smaller startups. Because I have saw the big, many of the big. I have to be careful what I'm saying. I don't know who's in the room, but big companies sometimes they're much slower than the startups or grown-ups. And as a company, and then now I look at BMW or others, they really we should force them to use really startups for the idea, because there are so many companies with good ideas, and it is good if the end. Second one is government. This is my favorite one. And as a startup, you can't work with government because the rules are so high, and you have to bring someone. Therefore, you're not allowed to. It's impossible, and we should change this. We should make startups should have the opportunity to work for government as well. I'm sitting on a board of, and it's called GovTech Campus, where is all the institutions and the government is combined, and they're working on AI tools. And it's so hard to bring smaller, good ideas, AI, smaller startups into this group. But this is maybe the way we should think about it.
Okay.
Use them.
If you're running the EU, what are you doing to help Europe catch up in the AI space?
And I'm not a politician. I don't want to be.
I've just given you all the power.
No. I don't. They asked me several times. It's like, no. I don't want. It's not my job. I'm too pragmatic.
Okay.
And by the way, as people, as managers or people running successful running companies, they won't succeed in the political area. You're about to fail. It doesn't work because you're too pragmatic. You don't have the support. You're not elected. Maybe do you know Vittorio Colao, who is the wingman of Draghi, and he was the minister of digitization in Italy, and he came from Vodafone. He was a Vodafone CEO, and I talked to him afterwards, and he said, "It's impossible. You can't be successful." It is, and he was so frustrated after 18 months. Therefore, don't ask me, and I'm not a politician.
Okay, so let me pivot a little bit. Do you think there's enough talent in Europe, or do you think too much talent is going to, say, Silicon Valley or somewhere else?
The best talent is, especially for deep knowledge,
Yes.
is in the area. That's for sure.
Yep.
It's all around San Francisco. There are many talents. Interesting enough, we have a few areas. I know in Germany, for example, Heilbronn, there is an AI the university is super good. Munich is very good. And I see the startups, they just position themselves around these special AI areas, and they grab the people. And I even don't tell you how much their salary is in the first year. It's unbelievably high.
Go on, tell us.
No, I don't. Okay. I did it this morning in a board meeting, and they were shocked. They looked at me and said, "Is it true?" Yeah, it's unbelievable what these people really, the experts, what they earn in their first year. It's 100,000. So
then let's go back to the original question. Can AI help Europe catch up? Increased investment, you don't think any increased investment is needed? It's already there for the taking?
No, it's in Germany. They just announced the WIN model, which is it's I think 12 billion from companies and from government to invest in startups and AI. I think there's another option to and there's another one, the especially the what is it called, the insurance for the if you what's it called, if you the model, I don't even know what is in English, because it's the Altersversorgung. What is it, the if you go, many of people understand it, but in the Altersversorgung, you were not allowed to invest in stocks and in AI, and that changed it now. You can do it. You can pension fund. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes the pension funds, and now you can invest in pension funds, and the pension funds can invest in startups and companies. That helps a lot. There's a few things, and therefore I think again, money is there. It's not the issue.
A unified strategy, so a coordinated plan for Europe, which, going back to your previous point, saying that yes, Europe has GDPR, but only Germany really went hard with the adoption of it. Do you think that Europe needs to be far more unified, including infrastructure and talent development for AI innovation?
I think what we I compare to France. You see, what Macron did. He was very invested a lot in startups from a couple of years ago. It's super successful. It's called 42 or something. This in Paris. I always forget the name. It's a number, some number, but we know this. And we shouldn't be. It's not a competition. We should work together, especially France, Germany, Italy, and others. And we need to the universities. We need to work much closer together. We need to develop these people. We need to find. This is the only thing I would do on this part, on the education part. I think education is super important.
Okay. And then finally, some balanced regulation. Make sure the frameworks protect privacy, but at the same time, I guess, allow enough data to be captured for it to be used in a useful way.
You say it. This is exactly what we need to do. And and again, COVID. It was so you were not allowed to collect the data, but we lost lives. People died because we haven't got the data. And this is so stupid that we say privacy is more important than the human life. This is what happened, and we need to really think about what is more important: collect data, privacy, or life itself. And this is something which hopefully gets better now with a new commissioner, or the old commissioner, the new. This is maybe the big problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Achim?
Hello, my name is Ingmar. You mentioned that we don't have to underestimate AI. What do we underestimate the most?
Maybe I can give you an example of what happens every day. It's take CAT GPT. I mentioned several times. We know it. We know the versions, the new versions. And I'm working in private equity. And my boss said to me a couple of days ago, there was an investment memo. He said, "Who wrote it? You or AI?" I said, "I did it." He said, "Do you have too much time? Why didn't the AI wrote it? You think the wrong way." And this is something you start thinking at school. You think you're cheating if you use something. This is what we need to understand. We need to understand that we use the AI option much more. And then for the call center business, for example, what would I think if? For me, an example: if I call Lufthansa or somebody else, whatever it is, and I phrase my question, and the AI should really understand what is needed, and should give the agent all the options, and should say maybe solve it, and then the agent can say, okay, this is solved, that is solved, and the third thing is blah blah blah. This is how the usage of AI is today. It's available. We can do this. And we should use it because it is less waiting time. It's the customer is happy. The problem is solved. It's all done by AI, and then it's the interaction with the person itself. Say, okay, everything is solved. You can go this, or you can fly there, or you can whatever you do, or your contract at the telecom is fine. This is something. I think this is the what I would do this year, and then let's see what's happening in the future.
And some great thoughts to wrap up on as we wrap up Unite CX for 2024 and the role of AI in CX. Unless there's any other questions.
One question. I'll talk loud.
Sure.
Today we heard a lot about 10 years from now, 20 years from now.
Forget it.
I have a hypothesis that we're way underestimating the speed.
Yeah.
I think 10 years from now is like a lifetime away.
I said it.
Would you agree that's one of the underestimations of?
This is what when I'm on stage, everything you completely underestimate what's going on. Not you, the people, completely underestimated. What happened in the last 8 months or 10 months is unbelievable. If you see I studied computer science and I studied fuzzy logic and everything, but in the last 8 to 10 months, unbelievable what happened, and how good, for example, CAT GPT and the transformer models are. And how easy it is to implement that. If you have a good data model, and you have an LMM, and you have a speech-to-text module, you're there. It is super easy, and this is what many people underestimate. We should really use AI much more, and this is the speed. I think in 2 years from now, I would be surprised what we're talking in. If I don't have to sit anymore here because someone.
Which brings us back to how we started the day with an AI model doing the introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause, please, Achim Berg.
Thank you.